Dr. Frank Wilderson III's 2005 short film Reparations, Now, lies somewhere between documentary and poetry, and contrasts sharply with Charles Burnett's 2003 docudrama Nat Turner, A Troublesome Property, and yet each stylistically drill into the fourth wall and interrogate the process of producing meaning. Looking at them side by side elucidates their tactics. Reparations, Now, consists of an opening performance, followed by scenes that alternate between Wilderson's poetic delivery of his family's oral history and interviews with an academic, a street spirit vendor, and a university student. These show the ubiquity of anti-blackness across settings. Each story draws a line from slavery and the past to anti-blackness today. Nat Turner, A Troublesome Property, is about interpretations and representations of Nat Turner over time. The docudrama has stylistic elements of expository and participatory documentary, while also drawing on reflexive and performative modes of documentary. Burnett uses style, content, and casting in reenactments and interviews to surpass the simplistic approach to history taken in many expository and participatory documentaries. The first thing we notice about each film is the title, and in comparing them, we realize that usually reparations are property, monetary or otherwise, given to descendants of those treated as property, and that in rebelling, Nat Turner took for himself an extreme sort of reparations. The title, Reparations, Now, tells us something crucial about the film. Despite being made in 2005 and discussing events 7 years before that, it has something to tell us about right now. This title knocks on the fourth wall by reminding the viewer of their own existence in time. The anachronistic combing effects and black and white displace the film in time, while the content weaves past and present together into a fabric that is both timeless and dated.
In April, 37 years will have passed since we hand-carried those letters. Another spring of no reply.
The title Nat Turner, A Troublesome Property connects Nat Turner's legal existence as property to his current existence as a piece of intellectual property, repossessed by every author and creative who describes him. Dominant hegemonic norms of representation conflate reenactments with historical truth. Burnett totally discredits this view by casting 6 different actors to play Nat Turner in reenactments associated with different authors who have told Nat Turner's story. Each contradictory interpretation is put on equal footing, and each reenactment is professionally performed, shot, edited, produced, and seamlessly embedded into the docudrama. This breaks down notions of historical truth and builds up an emphasis on cultural memory. The smoothness of transitions and editing in Nat Turner, A Troublesome Property, contrasted with the contradictions in the material of it, create a critique of overly authoritative stances on history. The creation of the documentary enters the cultural conversation on the memory of Nat Turner to remind us that each representation of Nat Turner constitutes the meaning of Nat Turner. This perspective re-empowers each of us to be artists and cultural critics. Nat Turner is long since dead, and it is the responsibility of the living to make meaning for him. In contrast, Frank Wilderson III is still alive and speaking directly to us through his art. Reparations, Now, opens on an intimate exhibition in the dimly lit interior of a home, where Wilderson delivers a prophecy of our own disbelief, dripping in dramatic irony.
Hi. Hello. You won't believe this.
Dr. Wilderson paints a vivid picture of a scene where he's clothed in signifiers of a wealthy preppiness.
Low-fat, decaffeinated latte in one hand, Sunday New York Times in the other. I'm wearing penny loafers, no socks of course, khaki pants from Banana Republic, Pierre Cardin shirt. No, this shirt's not Pierre Cardin, but it was.
He is assailed by disbelief and accusations of delinquency by an imagined audience. The systems of recognition that could be set in motion by Wilderson's fashion-focused outfit are halted by the floating signifier of his race. He restarts and reenacts his story 3 times, and in the final telling, shown with negative colors, which interrogate the black-white binary, and slowed video that draws attention to the passage of time, he gives up on his dramatic retelling and reveals its ending, that a white woman had accused him of stealing clothes in a laundromat. Performance is forced at times and reminds us that indeed all performances are. In this way, the opening sketch centers the processes of representation and meaning production, while revealing the ways they get interwoven with anti-blackness. The jerkiness of the introductory performance in Reparations now is characteristic of the piece. For example, the styles and timings of transitions are inconsistent throughout. The jarring style is opposite Burnett's smoothness, but the two techniques achieve a similar effect of interrogating representational practices. The jolting style builds a sense of unease with the medium and form of the documentary, which is added to by other creative choices, including the black and white style and combing effects, Wilderson's avoidance of eye contact with the camera, the content of on-screen introductions, and photographic edits. Wilderson extends this unease of existence within documentary to an uneasy existence within the cultural context of white supremacy. In each story, there is an opportunity for someone to be seen and understood, or for some wrong to be addressed, but the capitalist white supremacist hold over the meaning production process prevents this. The pessimistic perspective constructed by Reparations now, through content, dim lighting, and unsettling editing, reconstitutes history. Indeed, in 1862, Lincoln, acting as the nation's highest representative, signed into law the reverse of reparations with the District of Columbia Compensation Emancipation Act. This compensated former slave owners for their loss of property.
Maybe they give me a lifetime supply, seeing as how we were their slaves. Or if they wouldn't keep me in White Castle hamburgers for the rest of my life, maybe they'd give me a summer job. Or at least spring for a gift certificate. Some token of appreciation for all that work.
The absurdity of reparations in the form of a gift certificate walks us to the conclusion that nothing short of the destruction of American institutions would truly be reparations. This is what Nat Turner took as his task. The subject matter of reparations, now, is heavy, but we can find joy in Wilderson's artistic practices. His work is full of play. Wilderson plays with language through puns in the opening scene and alliteration later on. The opening performance begins playful and humorous, and when talking about reparations, there is wit and irony. Wilderson possesses his own narrative in a way Nat Turner no longer can, thus exercising the very agency that gives Nat Turner a troublesome property, its sense of optimism.